Now we're on the analogy section. The analogy is going to show the Krea's action and the effect of that action, and then it's going to present a very similar situation to that and show the same effect. So the first thing you need to fill out, the top section says the Krea's action and then the Krea's effect. We need to think about what is the action of our quote and then what is the effect of that. And so what Daniel Webster is saying is that being a good Christian leads to being a good citizen. So the action is being a good Christian, and the effect of that is being a good citizen. So when it says dissimilar action, that doesn't mean opposite. Dissimilar just means it's something different, but it's still showing the same relationship. And so what we need to do is we need to think of another situation in life where being one thing will kind of necessarily make you also good at something else. So, because in ours, being a good Christian is kind of like a bundle deal. It's like a 2-for-1 deal. Okay, so we if we're a good Christian, that kind of automatically makes us a good citizen. Can you stop shutting the doors? Every time you shut that, it makes noise. So you need to think of what's another situation in life where if you're good at one thing, it kind of automatically makes you good at something else. Perhaps if you are good at coaching a sport, that will necessarily mean that you're also good at teaching. Or if you are good at swimming, maybe that'll necessarily mean that you're good at floating. I don't know, something like that. That probably wasn't a very good one, but whatever. I just came up with it. Perhaps if you are a good son, that'll necessarily lead to you being a good father. And so the dissimilar action in that situation would be being a good son, and then the parallel effect would be that you're a good father. So when you're writing your 9 narrative components, the recognition would just be something like the truth of this saying that you recognize in your analogy that you came up with. And so perhaps if you were going to use something like the good son becoming a good father, perhaps you would recognize that good fathers are loving, they are self-sacrificial. So that's something that you could recognize. The reversal is what's happening when you are seeing the wisdom of this kind of take shape in your story. And so the reversal is that when you're a good son, it actually turns you into a good father. So you get kind of flipped over to being a good father. Flipped over, that was weird. All right, suffering. Is there any suffering in the process of becoming a good son or of being a good son? Is there any suffering that happens in that process? And I would say that, we all know children, there needs to be some sort of elements of suffering as we're training our kids. So children need to learn patience. Okay, and there's going to be a little bit of suffering in the process of learning to be patient, okay? Because we all want what's mine, right? This is mine, and I want it right now. And so we've all seen little kids throwing tantrums when we don't get, when kids don't get what they want when they want it, they're throwing a tantrum. And so there's going to be some suffering in the process of a parent teaching the child to be patient. The agents, so if I was going to be talking about the agents for my situation, would be the son and the father. The actions would be what the agents are doing. So my son, he's learning, and the father is teaching. The time, well, this is taking place when a son is in childhood. And so we have childhood when it's taking place, and then it's also going to be seen, the effects of that are going to be seen in adulthood. Where is my situation taking place? Well, the place is at home. The manner. Okay, so the manner is how are the agents doing the action? In what way? And these are going to be adverbs. So perhaps the father is raising his son in a loving manner. So his manner would be lovingly or patiently. He's patiently teaching. And then the cause is why are the agents doing this? What is their motivation? And perhaps the cause is so that the son will grow up to be a good father, or so that the son will grow up to be a good citizen. And so in your rough draft, analogies are almost always going to start with these words, in the same way. Okay, in the same way. So we're going to start with something like, in the same way that being a good son will lead to him being a good father when he is older, so being a good Christian will lead to that man being a good citizen. Okay, so you're going to start it with in the same way, and you're going to show this leading to this is the same way that this leads to that. And you're going to include some of those words that you use in your nine narrative components, like, learning patience and learning to be self-sacrificial. So those are going to go in that paragraph. How are you going to show the two parallel situations?